Hey everybody, welcome back to the Working Man's Whiskey. I'm Bobby. Guys, a little bit dark out here, so I apologize. Not sure how well you guys can all see me, but wanted to get this review on here tonight. Just kind of sitting out here by the fire, enjoying, um, you know, everybody's going through a tough time right now with this quarantine and all that, but um, trying to enjoy it the best I can. Got the fire going, been having the fire going all day, and wanted to do a little review here tonight. So we're going to talk about a couple of bonded rye whiskeys. Uh, One right here on the left, on my left, your right, is Old Overholt bonded. The one over here on my right, your left, is Rittenhouse bonded. And these are two, not to kind of ruin the surprise. You guys already know this. I've reviewed both of these bottles already, but um, these are two of my favorite bonded rye whiskeys. Um, the Rittenhouse is from Heaven Hill. Old Overholt bonded is made by Jim Beam. So, two of the biggest bourbon producers in the United States, right here, guys. And just to get to cut to the chase, I love both of these whiskeys, but I wanted to see how they compare together against each other. Um, a while back, I did a little challenge review between Rittenhouse and Old Forester Rye. Old Forester Rye being put out by Brown Foreman, of course. And Rittenhouse ended up winning that one. Um, from what I remember, I believe I had Rittenhouse winning that one. Rittenhouse, very, very good stuff. Both of these whiskeys here are in the $20 to $25 range. I believe I probably paid just about the same. I think $21.99 before tax for both of these bottles here. So, um, price wise, they compare very well. Let's see how they compare quality wise, guys. So, we're gonna pour the Old Overholt into the glass here on my left. You're right. Um, that's my tumbler I always go to, and the other tumbler is my Jefferson's tumbler that got a while back. And I don't know, guys. I'm kind of partial to the tumblers. I like the Glencairn glass, but um, you know, for some reason, I just always go back to the tumblers. I always feel like I can nose these just fine in the tumblers, all the whiskeys I review. So, like to stick with them. So, anyway, let's can't really see here in the dark, guys, but give the Old Overholt bonded a nose here. All right, and right off the bat, guys, it is a rye whiskey. Both of these are technically rye whiskeys, being at least 51% rye in the mash bill, but um, they're both probably right around that number in the mash bill. So they're not far away from being a bourbon. And this Old Overholt Bonded definitely has more of a bourbon esque nose to it. You get your sweeter type of things that you nose there, more caramels and Jim Beam makes Old Overholt Bonded, as I said, and Jim Beam always has a kind of a grainy hay note to their products, especially their rye whiskeys. Old Overholt, the original, and then Old Overholt Bonded here. Um, there is a hay note in there, which I happen to really, really like. But you're getting those caramel and vanilla notes up front. Rye is a little bit kind of in the background there on the nose, but it's kind of more of an afterthought. Um, for rye whiskeys, both of these are going to be uh, more along those lines. So if you guys are looking for, if you like rye whiskeys with a big rye punch to the nose, these might not be for you. But if you're into bourbons and you're looking to kind of get into rye whiskeys, these might be something to look to. So back to this, guys. Yeah, it's as I said, sweeter notes here. That caramel, vanilla. It's got that um, hay note. More of a grainy note. Not like a raw grain, but sweet. Oat hay type note to it. So let's take a taste. And on the palate, more of the same. Uh, Sweeter notes. The uh, the caramel and vanilla. Um, that sweet hay note. Not a whole lot of fruit. Some rye whiskeys will be more fruit forward. Um, the old Overholt, not so much. It's it plays more in the with the grains and uh, does have that rye note to it. It definitely has a rye note to it, but as I said, more of an afterthought. Let's take another sip. Very pleasant, very simple, good rye whiskey, but as I said, uh, more along the lines of a bourbon than a true rye whiskey. I can't even say it. True rye whiskey. So really good stuff, guys. But um, definitely sweeter than it is, rye forward. So ooh, sip of water there. Let's nose this Rittenhouse here. And the Rittenhouse, again, more bourbon forward than it is rye, or it's more uh, bourbon esque than it is rye. Uh, but this is definitely different than the old Overholt. This one is definitely more rye forward. This one's definitely more fruit forward than the old Overholt was. I get I get citrusy notes to it, a little bit of a cherry note to it as well. Um, Definitely has some vanilla as well. Uh, but again, that rye is there, but kind of in the background, guys. So uh, let's take a taste. So again, the Rittenhouse definitely has more fruit in it than the old Overholt does. Um, I get, as I said, I get cherry. I get citrus. Um, it's not as grain forward as the old Overhold is. I like how different these two are. I like how I mean they're gonna be. They come from two different distilleries, but um, I think that's what makes these two. Um, a couple of my favorites as far as bonded ryes go. They're so different, but so good on their own. Um, and the Rittenhouse is just they're both sweet. They both have those bourbon type qualities to them. With rye, kind of it's back there, but it doesn't hit you like a rye whiskey usually does. So let's take one more taste. I don't think I don't think I've said anything, or I don't think there's anything more to say than what I've said about this one. I mean, It's sweet. It's got a little bit of caramel in there, a little bit of vanilla, but very fruit forward for the Rittenhouse. Cherry, orange, um, kind of reminds me of a, if you were to make uh, almost like a mixed drink, with a little bit of fruit as the garnish. But that's it almost reminds me more of a whiskey cocktail um, than a straight rye whiskey. So really good stuff, guys. Rittenhouse, um, both of these whiskeys here, very good. Um, I've mixed them before, each one of them, but um, on their own, they just I don't know. They're both very good rye whiskeys to drink by themselves. But being 100 proof and being rye, they both mix very well. If you want to make a Manhattan, an old fashioned, um, whiskey cocktail like that, these both do very well in cocktails. Let's take another sip of water. I'm going to sip the Old Overholt one more time, give it a score. Okay. Hmm. And with the Old Overholt, guys, I kind of like that as I said, it's got some bourbon type qualities to it, being sweeter than it is more rye forward, but it's not really sweet. It's not, it's got a little bit of that, as I said, caramel and vanilla. Um, Definitely more oaky than the Rittenhouse is, but I like that it's not too sweet. For some reason, it's hitting me kind of right tonight. Um, wasn't really in the mood for anything too sweet, too overly sweet, too fruity. So the old Overholt is kind of hitting me just right. Um, I'm gonna give it a score, and I think it's lower than the score that I gave it originally. Both of these are going to be a little bit lower. I I don't know if it's just tonight or things change over time, but um, the Old Overholt, give it one more sip and give it a score. A little more. Actually, I get a little bit of fruit in the background there. It's more of a citrusy type note. Um, but I'm gonna give the Old Overholt bonded here an 88 out of 100. 88 is still a very very good score, guys. B plus, whatever you want to call it. It's up there. Very very good stuff. And for $21.99 before tax, it was about 23.5 bucks out the door. So very good stuff. So um, 88 out of 100 for the Old Overholt Rye. All right, let's go to the Rittenhouse here. And the Rittenhouse, guys, it's one of my favorites. It really is. But I don't know if it's just tonight or what. It's it's a little bit sweet tonight. It's kind of hit me a little bit sweet. That cherry note, which I like. I like a cherry note in a whiskey, but it's a little too fruit forward tonight. Got that kind of cherry and orange in it, citrusy type note, uh, but still very good. But I'm going to give it a point lower than the Old Overholt. Rittenhouse is going to get an 87 tonight, but still very very good for the price, guys. I mean, both of these whiskeys here. If you're looking to get into rye whiskey, Not saying these are kind of a beginner's uh, rye whiskey or anything, because they're not. These are two that I will always have. Um, yeah, if I had a bar, these would always be at my bar. But these two will always have a place in my cabinet for sure. Um, and they both hold their own very well. Whether you want to mix them, whether you want to drink them neat, um, both very very good. And at the price point, $20 to $25, these are killer. They're a good deal. Very very good deal. But 88 for Old Overholt, 87 for Rittenhouse, guys. Take one more sip of the Rittenhouse. Good stuff, guys. Really, really good stuff. Um, I'm take a sip of my water. Mm. I appreciate you guys hanging with me through this review. I don't know how dark this is going to be. It looked like it was going to be pretty dark from the little test run I did, but hope you can see me okay. Hope you can see these bottles okay. Um, hope you guys like the review. Old Overholt Bonded 88, Rittenhouse 87 tonight, guys. So both really really good bottles to get. For Heaven Hill, also, guys, Rittenhouse is very 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 good, but I recommend Pikesville. Pikesville 110 proof, a little bit higher proof, but Pikesville is one of my favorite whiskeys at any price point, and it's right around $40 around here anyway. Really good stuff. So check out Pikesville, check out Rittenhouse, check out Old Overholt. The Old Overholt, guys, this brand has been around since 1810. Doc Holliday's favorite whiskey. It has changed hands. It is different than it used to be, but the name is still around over 200 years later. 210 years later, guys. That's insane. So check that out. And that's going to do it for this review, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And look forward to talking to you guys soon. I've got quite a few reviews to get on here, guys. Looking forward to it. Not sure when I'm going to be able to post them. I'm still working. I'm an essential worker, so still working during the weekdays. So during the weekends, life gets a little bit busy, hanging out with the family, and family comes before whiskey reviews, obviously. But look forward to getting another review on here before too long. I have several to review, and I look forward to it. Please leave comments, subscribe if you haven't already, guys, and we'll talk soon. Till next time, cheers.